Welcome to our weekly updates from Little Baby Bump, a mom and baby health center in BTM Layout, Bangalore. Here our eminent doctors give you tips on topical issues every week.
Hello friends, welcome to our podcast. We are here with the eminent Dr. Nirmala, an acknowledged expert in infertility and an obstetrician and a gynecologist. Dr. Nirmala, today's conversation is about stress and the role of stress in infertility. Do you want to just dive into the subject as you always do?
That's one of my favorite subjects in any way. Stress, when I say you look little stressed, the first question they turn back and they give me a frown on their forehead and say, no, how do you say that? And the very response, the way they react to that word stress itself, tells me that you are stressed.
That's a good one.
No,
okay.
What in the true sense is the definition of stress? What do you mean by stress? It's the reaction to an event. Any reaction to an event is what you call as actually defined as stress. So the way you react. Okay, I'm not saying that all of us should become a yogi and not react to any situation. All of us do react, but how fast are we reacting and reversing to the normal state is what is actually required. Unfortunately, we keep on dwelling and keep building all our worries, and then turn it out into a big mountain. We turn a big mountain out of a small anthill. That's what is happening with patients who do go through infertility. Of course, I don't deny that they don't have any reasons to get stressed out. There are plenty of reasons. First of all, we consultants, infertility people, the very sight of us stresses them. Every now and then that they need to visit us, they have to come and meet, sit in long queues for hours together, and then go through a scan, go through a prick, go through injections, and go through something. Everybody trying to counsel them, everybody trying to ask them, why are you looking so dull, why are you looking so upset, come on, cheer up. How to cheer up? There's so much of social stigma which is bounding them down. They can't go back home, mother-in-law, somebody else keeps asking them, what happened, where you went to the doctor, are you pregnant, what, such questions that they need to address when they go back. So obviously everything starts having an impact on them. That is one thing. The second thing is, again, as I told you, doctors are a major role for stress, because all the time that we keep telling them, today you have to have sexual activity, tomorrow you should not have. Every time it looks like a doctor sitting in their bedroom and controlling what they have to do, what they shouldn't be doing. That becomes a very major stress for them. I do accept half the problems are created by us, but then there has to be a way out. We are looking for something, and we have to find a way to de-stress ourselves. Well, stress, I would again like to stress that it has an impact. It has a very, very great role to play in infertility, not in the female alone. I know women face the social taboos. A lot of stigmas are there, and they really go through a lot of pressures. Nonetheless, even men go through a lot of stress at their workplace, and come back home, you'll find a wife who will say, I went to the doctor today, and today you cannot go to sleep, come on, shake up, wake up and perform. It's that kind of a stress men also go through. They come and tell me, my God, doctor, you are becoming my big villain in my life. So all stresses are there, common to both of them, and it affects both of them. If you look at men, you will find that highly stressed men, overworked, and they do have a reduction in their sperm parameters, count, motility, morphology. They start producing a lot of abnormal sperms. And in the women, the syndrome, a woman having this problem of ovulation disorder, polycystic ovary, we always find that a stress level being high has a negative role, or rather it distorts the regulation of the hormone called LH, which in turn is very important in PCO, which is already in high circulation in PCO. So it aggravates the existing problem of PCO and puts them into more and more abnormal cycles. So stress does have a role to play there. Stress also, this high level of LH in a stressful woman, even if an embryo comes into the uterus, it can have a negative impact there and prevent that embryo. There's a very beautiful dialogue which happens between the embryo and the uterus. It's a very beautiful dialogue. They just have to adhere and stick and then start developing. There's something which happens and nobody knows what is that dialogue. And even in at that level and high circulation of LH can have a negative role. So at various steps in the fertilization process, that stress does have an effect. So it's very easy to tell somebody, come on, you look stressed, go de-stress yourself. How is the question? All of us know that, and all of us keep going through that.
Absolutely.
So it's a very difficult situation. First of all, we need to accept that we are stressed, and we have to find a solution to de-stress, and that's going to help us in conceiving. Otherwise, what happens? Stress aggravates the primary problem of infertility, and the whole vicious cycle is set over there, and we need to break it. So we have to. So even before looking at corrective steps, we need to accept. Quite often there's a denial here. No, I'm okay, I'm fine. Or, they try to push the blame. No, she's stressed, I find her that way, I'm not that way. I'm fine, I'm cool. So acceptance and that we are going through some amount of stress is the first step, which will make us go to the next. We will try to take some methods. There are plenty of methods to de-stress ourselves today. When I say that, I quite often have men who come and say, yeah, that's exactly why I'm smoking. I'm de-stressing myself. I go out to a party, I have a drink. But let me tell you, that's not the way to de-stress women, and that's only going to aggravate again the basic problem of infertility. So let's find alternate methods. A good early morning walk, a very good walk with a fresh air. Many times it really calms your mind. Yogas, asanas. We all the time look at yogas as just some postures. Yoga is not all about doing some asanas or postures. There is so much of a union between the mind and the body, and that is what is required for us. And the minute we start training our mind, naturally the body will start functioning in a positive way. That is very important. So that very coherent act of bringing your mind and body into a union is what we call as yoga and meditation. So there are techniques which help them to increase the blood flow to the reproductive organs, and thereby improving the performances. So that is another way of de-stressing yourself. So as I said, there are multiple ways of, one has to assess their own stress levels, understand, accept, and find a way out to de-stress themselves. And this is one thing that I would like to say, once when you go through the infertility treatment protocols also, after lowering your stress levels, the results are also much better. I have lot of scientific data and research that we have done in this area, and we have found that the pregnancy rates are far better in the meditators and the people who take yoga class compared to the women who do not do anything at all. So some method is very important before you get into this treatment of infertility.
Got it. Thank you very much, Doctor, as ever, wonderfully insightful, and thanks a ton, folks, for listening.
You are listening to our weekly video cast from Little Baby Bump, a mom and baby center in BTM Layout, 2nd Stage, Bangalore. To find out more, please visit lilbabbybump.com or facebook.com/littlebabybump. Thank you very much for listening.